All right, you just sold an item on eBay, you shipped it out, and the buyer is asking to return the item before they even received it. They're asking for their money back. What do you do?
So we just had this happen to us recently, and with a $700 item. So we're going to dive into what we did to get the money back.
That's right, but first we're Rob and Melissa with Flea Market Flipper. We've been doing this for over 20 years and love bringing tips like this to you guys so you hopefully can get similar results that we get from the situations that we go through.
So we're going to dive into what we did, but before we do that, we want to let you know, or we want you to know that each transaction is different. So every time you do a transaction, if you get a refund request, there's going to be a different way to handle it necessarily. So you want to make sure that you're looking at it as kind of a detective,
That's
like
it.
a problem solver. Figure out what is the best solution to this problem that we have. So with us, we shipped out a $700 shower pan, right?
That's it.
A stone shower pan.
A stone shower pan weighed about 500 pounds. We shipped it out. This actually went freight. After we shipped it, I got a message from the buyer 3 weeks later and said, hey, I have not received the item yet. Most shipments take about a week or less when we ship freight. So I was surprised that he hadn't received it yet. And he told me, it's been 3 weeks. If I can't get it in the next week, I want my money back.
Which is not, it's a normal request. I mean, that's not
Absolutely.
crazy, so.
That is not a great time return on shipping something out and the buyer receiving it. So I could understand his frustration. It's not his fault. It definitely was not our fault. In this situation, I actually had to give the buyer a refund. And then I was going to go after the freight company for the delay in the shipment and if they lost the shipment, whatever the thing was that happened. But after I gave him the refund, the item was delivered to the buyer 3 days later. He got the item, he signed for it, now he's got the money and the item. So what do you do? What did we do? Well, this whole process, when he first reached out and said he wanted the refund, I called eBay. That's the best thing you can do in almost every situation.
eBay on the phone. So a lot of people don't want to get them on the phone. They want to do the chat, but eBay can't hear the passion in your voice. They can't hear, like you can talk through your situation so much better than just trying to do it on the chat.
That's right. Or emails, going through return requests, all that kind of stuff. It does not work that well. Get them on the phone, talk to them, let them know your situation and what you should do. In this case, they told me you should refund the buyer because it's not his fault. He doesn't have the item. It's been almost a month and that's way, way too long to deliver an item to a buyer. I understood it. I refunded the item or refunded the money. And then I called the freight company. And the freight company says, we're backed up at one of our terminals. We'll put a hold on this. And I told them I had to give them the refund. So they didn't care. Anyways, they delivered the item a couple days later. I don't know exactly the whole situation behind that. But the gentleman, the buyer, signed for the item 3 days later. So we had proof that he received it.
And he said he wasn't going to take it, accept it, but he did accept it a couple days later.
So then I called eBay back and I said, hey, I have proof of delivery right here for this item that I refunded the buyer for. What is my next step? Well, in this instance, since eBay did not force me to give the refund, I actually did it out of
Well, they suggested that you do that.
They did, and it was the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
But sometimes if eBay would have forced me to give the refund, if they would have made a decision against me and said, okay, you have to give the refund, they could have filed an appeal. In this case, they didn't do that. I did it because it was the right thing, so there was no place to file an appeal. So the first rep that I got told me we can't file an appeal because of this, but I can get it up to my supervisor who should be able to go into the back office, whatever it is, and he should be able to manually override it and get your money back because the gentleman received the item. So I said, beautiful. I took the guy's name. Remember, always take notes when you're talking to eBay. Get a rep ID, get a name of who you're talking to, the department, all that kind of stuff.
They'll keep it in the notes too, but if you have it and you confer back, because you said
Absolutely.
specifically his name said and told me this when you called back again.
His name was Eric. So I talked to Eric. When I called back 3 days later, I said, hey, I have not received an email from you guys. I don't know what's going on. I got a different rep, and the different rep said, yeah, I'm sorry, but we can't do anything in this situation. There's no way to file an appeal, so you're just kind of out the money. And I said, wait a minute. I talked to Eric, who told me he could get to his supervisor and he would manually override it and get my money back because you guys could see that I did the right thing, and you guys were not going to penalize me for doing the right thing. So he put a message over to Eric. Eric actually reached out later that day back to me through an email and said, I sent it to my supervisor. In 48 hours, you should have the refund. In less than 48 hours, I had the money back into my account. So there's a couple key points in this whole story, guys.
The first one.
I know it's a long story.
Get them on the phone. Next is be polite. So
Absolutely.
always be polite when you're trying to talk to the rep. You can be very frustrated, and they know that you're frustrated with the situation.
Yes.
But still try to be polite. They're trying to work out on their side too. So.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to call back. If you're not getting anywhere with the rep, you can either ask for a supervisor, and maybe you're not getting anywhere and you know you didn't do anything wrong. They're not understanding you for whatever reason. You can always hang up, call back, or have them call you back. Get a different person who might have more experience. They might have more experience with eBay or being employed by eBay, longer, so they know a lot more. In this case, both the reps that I talked to they sounded very knowledgeable about what they were doing, but one knew a lot more than the other one. So always don't be scared to ask for a supervisor if you have to. And don't be scared to call back 1, 2, maybe even 3 times till you get the right rep who understands you and understands your frustration, the situation that you're going through. And it's going to try and get it turned into your direction.
And they did tell us that it was going to take probably 3 weeks to get the money back.
Yes.
But they would handle it. But it ended up being 2 days,
yeah,
right? Or
2 days.
Less than.
I think he originally told me 15 business days.
Yeah.
It could take up to 15 business days. But as soon as I called back after 3 days of talking to Eric and I got this other rep, he had it done within 2 days after that. So a total of maybe 5 days was all it took to get my money back into my account. So
and nobody wants to deal with, calling eBay or getting them to call you and getting them on the phone. But if you have to for a situation, like this one was a $700 transaction, we're going to do it. If it's maybe a $20 transaction, you have to weigh out your time. Is your time worth being on the phone with them? And you actually didn't spend a ton of time on this one.
No, I didn't.
You spent longer before on certain items.
Yeah.
But this one wasn't that much time, and you got it handled pretty quickly.
Yep.
And eBay went out the money. Now, we don't know if they're going back after the buyer or the freight company to get their money or not. If it's worth it to them, they probably have to weigh out their time as well to go after that. So
yep. Another good point to this whole situation is, what if this didn't go in my favor? What if I lost the money? The guy's got the item and he's got his refund, so he's got both. What do you do in that situation? For me, I would have went after the shipping company. I would have fought the shipping company and their insurance department. I actually did file a claim with them before this whole thing got handled. They denied it because they proved that they delivered it, but I still would have fought them if I couldn't get my money back from eBay. So there's always different ways that you can look at situations. Try to figure out the best way to handle it. In this case, it was eBay for me. Get them on the phone. They are very willing to work with me because I did the right thing in this situation. So they worked with me.
They had suggested that.
Exactly. And they gave me they gave me the suggestion to refund it before it was delivered because it took too long. So we did that. We were rewarded for that. In the end, we got our money back. Hopefully, if you're going through a similar situation, you guys can get the same result. But if you don't, if for whatever reason it does not work out in your favor, figure out if you can go after the shipping company, whether it's FedEx, UPS, USPS.
It was their fault in this situation. So.
It was the shipping company's fault. They had the item in one of their terminals way too long, and they couldn't even tell me what happened. But like I said, I would have fought them if I had to for that $700 if I could not have got it back from eBay or the buyer.
But eBay, everybody gets so upset that eBay never takes care of their sellers, but they do if the situation, you did the right thing, and
absolutely.
They want to protect their sellers, they want to protect their buyers, so they're the middleman. They have to decide which, they have to figure out what's going on, and so there was no fault on either side on this one, so they had to kind of figure it out.
Yep.
When this was PayPal before managed payments, that would have been an easy reversal for them. So
exactly. Once PayPal had the confirmation of delivery from the tracking number, they would have reversed it immediately. You didn't have to worry about a thing. But eBay managed payments, they're still working all the bugs out of it. Some things like this, like I said, every situation is different. This was a weird situation that they couldn't just reverse the payment. They couldn't do that in this situation.
So when you get a return request, the first thing to do is to not panic.
Exactly.
So don't panic. Assess the situation. Figure out and get eBay on the phone. And the next video will show you how to get eBay on the phone. But it's pretty easy just to get them to call you, and
Absolutely.
they do it pretty quick. So,
Absolutely.
So get somebody on the phone, talk to them, and just be polite and be confident.
That's it.
So.
Awesome, guys. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Please show us a little love. If it is, subscribe, like this video. We like making these about situations that we go through, hopefully to help everybody out there who goes through a similar situation, that you'll be able to get the results that we get. That's what we're trying to do. So
have a great day.
You guys rock!
Bye.